In this video today, I want to share with you why I feed my dogs from the table. Now, there is a common understanding out there that if you feed your dog from the table, it's going to encourage begging. But today, what I want to tell you is that's actually not true. If done properly, feeding your dog from the table can actually be awesome time for good dog training. To start, it's really helpful to understand reinforcement and how reinforcement works. You see, whenever you reinforce your dog, so give a treat, for example, or in our example today, feed from the table. When you give your dog food from the table, you are reinforcing whatever he is doing at the moment. So if he is begging, then you are most certainly reinforcing begging. But if he is laying there calmly and ignoring what's going on around the table, then you are actually reinforcing him for laying down calmly and ignoring the food on the table. So, in order to reinforce good behavior around the dinner table, I will feed my dog from the table, because once your dog has the skills he needs in order, like things like your training system, when you understand how to use reinforcement, when those things are the case, when he has those foundational behaviors that we discuss in depth in the Puppy Bedrock course, these are the things that can come together, and you can kind of make training like a lifestyle, where you can train in the moment, as in he has the prerequisite skills in order to understand what you're doing, but you can kind of use everyday situations as training opportunities for good behavior. So this is how I use my meals whenever I have a puppy in training. I will feed him from the table, because if I'm eating and he does something good, I want to reward him for that. So if I'm eating and somebody comes and knocks on the door and he doesn't run to the door barking, then I'm going to reinforce him that with my food off my plate, because it's right there and it's handy. Little disclaimer in there, if you are concerned about feeding dogs human food, I make sure it's safe for my dog to eat, and I also eat mostly whole foods myself, so I don't have to worry about highly processed foods, because those aren't good for dogs. But anyway, use your own judgment if you're going to use human food. So I'm going to reinforce him in that moment, and my food is what's most accessible in that moment for me. I'm also going to reinforce him for good behavior around the table, and this is where I see really powerful, where I see this being really powerful, is you can reinforce your dog for good behavior around the table while you're eating. You can use your own food like I typically do, or you can have like pre-cut up pieces of cheese or something else like that at your place, so you can use that to reinforce him for being good around the table. A couple of behaviors that I really like my dog to do around the table is I like him to either be laying behind my chair, just chilling, being calm, or I would like him to be on his dog bed. And if your dog is one that particularly struggles with begging, the dog bed option could be really good for you, because the dog bed can be across the room, and therefore he's not in the kitchen, he's not at the dining room, he's not in all those places where he might be tempted to try to beg. You can even teach him that when you go and sit down at the table, that he needs to go lay down on his dog bed. That would be a perfectly doable cue system to have. Of course, if he's on the dog bed and you're at the table, you are going to need to throw treats across the room to him, or just get up and give them to him at different intervals. But the dinner time, meal times can be just great training opportunities for our puppies, and it just helps us make training as a lifestyle. And instead of having to, you can have specific sessions, most definitely, but it helps bring training into real life if you can start incorporating that into your real life by using mealtime and feeding from the table to encourage good behavior. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, consider sharing this anywhere else you think other puppy owners would find it helpful. Have a great day.